Yo, what is good YouTube? It's Elliot here, back in the Minimalist Corner, with a response to a kind dude, Thomas Jacob, I believe your name is. Apologies if I got that wrong. But, commented on quite a few of my videos. Glad you're enjoying the minimalist stuff. Of course, glad everyone else is enjoying it too. This dude asked me a question, so here's my video response to you. Question was, what's my list of essential items for a minimalist? Now, to me, I gotta say, it seems like a bit of a counterintuitive question, but still a good one to a degree, so I'm still going to answer it. So what do I mean by a counterintuitive question, if you haven't guessed already? Of course, as a minimalist, generally speaking, if we're going to make a broad generalization, is someone who tries to exist with the minimal amount of items they can happily live with. Minimal amount of clutter, all that. So, to ask someone and say, what items should I have? Normally the question would be, what items should I not have? But nonetheless, it is an interesting question, and I think it's something that we can address. So, quick disclaimer before I get going. A lot of the things I mention are going to be geared more towards the male minimalist. But of course, if you're a chick, you can just, sorry, very sexist, if you are a woman, a lady, then you can just kind of amend the list. But definitely, one, obviously, I'm a guy, so I'm going to be looking from my point of view. And two, I think there are a lot more female minimalist stuff out there on the interwebs at the moment than there is for dudes. So again, fresh perspective. So what we got to think about when we come to a list of things you should own is, what do you actually need as a person, right? As a human, you need shelter, you need food, you need water, you need rest. That's pretty much it, right? You got somewhere to lay your head, you got somewhere to keep dry and warm, you got some food to eat, you got water to drink. Everything else is superfluous to your needs. Now, you kind of need clothes because modern society says you can't be naked all the time, and you need some money to buy the food and the water, because just the way society is, we need a few more items than that, right? But those are the basics we need to think of. Anything which doesn't provide one of those things is got to be something you've got to think, what do I really need that? So I'm going to start real basic. I'm going to start with the kitchen. Okay, the kitchen is somewhere that we can get as basic as you like, or we can build slightly from there. So absolute basic bare necessity, I would say, if you want the super minimalist kitchen, you want one bowl, one just dinner plate. Don't worry about the tea plate, because you can use a full-size plate for a big meal or a small meal. Doesn't really matter, right? One bowl, one plate, one mug, one set of cutlery. And that's literally, if you live alone, that's all you need. Obviously, if you want guests over, increase the number of plates and bowls and stuff. But really, totally minimalist, that's all you need. Arguably, you could get away with just a bowl. But, if you live in a house, if you live in a flat, whatever, you can probably afford to have a plate and a bowl, so you can differentiate between the two. And then again, extremely basic would be a wok to cook in. The reason I say a wok is because it's big, right? You can use it as a frying pan, you can use it as a saucepan to boil shit in, you can do all kinds of cooking in it. For me, I need a frying pan and a saucepan, so I have two items as opposed to just a wok. The reason for that is the way I cook. What I cook generally involves meat and either and a starchy carb normally. So I will obviously, yes, I throw some veggies in there, but I'll tell you how I do that in a second. But my main meal, right, that I eat pretty much every night is minced beef with rice and spinach and tomatoes. So I fry the mince in the frying pan, I boil the rice in the saucepan, and I use frozen spinach, and I just bang that into the mince when it's almost done. It cooks down in there, and then I bang the tomatoes in to heat them up, tinned obviously, because I'm lazy and male, and then mix it all together and I'm good to go. So I have, 90% of my meals involve a saucepan and a frying pan, so I have those two. I don't need extra saucepans taking up room, getting in the way. Obviously, you're going to need a chopping board, you're going to need a knife if you like to prepare fresh vegetables, fresh food. You probably kind of need a knife anyway, even if you're a microwave warrior, you need to cut things open. But very basic kitchen stuff. You don't need all these blenders, you don't need a pestle and mortar. I mean, how many guys own a damn pestle and mortar and maybe they use it once a year? There was an invention a little while ago, maybe you heard of it, called pre-ground spices, okay? And since then, we don't really need a pestle and mortar. Yes, if you're a chef, yes, if you like to do fancy stuff, you might want that. But you don't need it. If you're trying to be as minimal as possible, you don't need that. So, obviously you need something to cook on, but you probably live in a house. probably a cooker, there's probably a fridge, there's probably a washing machine, and quite frankly, as long as you never intend on moving out of a house environment, like living in a house or a flat, I would not consider getting rid of those. I wouldn't even consider those part of your possessions, per se. I would consider the possessions the smaller things that, that you would take with you. Say you move from one furnished place to another, the white goods will be included, that kind of thing. So we're going to ignore those. I know they're a part of it, but not for our purposes. I'm going to move on to the bathroom. So this is somewhere very basic for me. I would say toothbrush, toothpaste, and something to shave with. Now, you can use a wet razor, you can use a dry razor. Trust me when I say if you use a wet razor and you've never tried to do it without shaving foam, you don't need shaving foam. Run hot water, you put hot water on your face, right? And it runs pretty much as smooth as if you're using shaving foam. So shaving foam is something you can do away with. You don't need that shit, right? It takes up room, it costs money, you don't need it. If you electric shave, obviously you don't need it anyway. Toothbrush, electric or manual, whatever you prefer. I go electric because I had bad teeth when I was a kid, and, I don't mind spending a bit more on a toothbrush and having a charger. It really doesn't make much difference, right? So I go electric, I have floss as well, and I have toothpaste. The reason I mentioned toothpaste as you're like, oh, that's a toiletry, that doesn't really count. Wrong, of course toiletries count. And for me, all you need is a toothpaste and an all-in-one shower thing, right? I have pretty good skin, right? Without sounding like a knob. See if I make this camera focus. Yeah, I have pretty good skin. I don't really get spots. I don't really have any skin issues. And I swear to God, I basically never wash my face, right? I got all-in-one shower gel that's hair, face and body wash. I wash my body with it. I wash my hair with it. I get out. Every now and then, if I've been to the gym and my face is real sweaty or feels a bit greasy, I will splash water on my face, rub water over my face, and that's it. I never use these exfoliating scrubs. I never use any of this manly face wash shit. You don't need it. Maybe if you're a girl, you might need some stuff to remove makeup if you wear makeup, because obviously otherwise that messes with your skin. But for me and for most guys who don't really put anything on their face, like we don't moisturize or shit like that, you don't need to, right? Yes, okay, maybe genetically I'm lucky, I've got good skin, I never really had acne or anything, but I don't wash my face. Like, that sounds gross, right? But seriously, if it gets greasy sometimes, I'll put water on it, but I don't use soap or anything, and I believe that's why my skin is good. So you don't need those extra things. Just avoid them. They take up room, they cost money, it's all shit, right? You don't need it. Your skin can handle itself. Obviously you want to shower because your armpits get stinky, shit like that. But my face doesn't smell, so it's not really an issue. Okay, that's it in the bathroom for me. That is all I've got. Oh, one other thing, I use one of those foofer things to wash with, whatever you call them, like body puff or whatever. The reason I use that is literally you need to use about a quarter of the shower gel you would if you just use your hands. Use your hands, you don't get lather. You have to use like 3 times as much. So the money you spend on that every couple of months to replace one of those is really negligible compared to the extra money you'd spend on shower gel if you didn't use it. I'm going to move on to the wardrobe. I'm going to be fairly brief on this. Fairly brief. But I'm going to go into a little bit of detail. The reason I'm going to be mainly brief is there's a lot more specific minimalist or what they call capsule wardrobe stuff out there for you. But for as a guy, this is what I recommend. First thing I'm going to say is address your lifestyle. If you work in an office and you work there probably 5 days out of 7, do not worry about having a t-shirt for 7 days. But don't even necessarily worry about having a t-shirt for the weekend. There is nothing wrong with wearing a shirt all the time. A shirt is a classic look. You're going to look like a badass. You're going to look like you've got shit going on, like you've got life way more in control than if wearing a shirt on the weekends, like tucked into a nice pair of slacks, than you will if, you walk around like me in a fucking wife beater vest. This is going to the gym attire though, so let me off, right? But what I'm saying is, I would recommend that you buy 5 or 7 shirts, long sleeve, stylish, nice, good quality shirts, because if you've got less clothes you can afford to spend a bit more money on them. 1, they last longer, 2, they look better, 3, you look better in them, and 4, why buy like 50 cheap shit shirts that you're going to throw away after a couple of weeks when you can buy one that's maybe 3 times as expensive but it's going to last you like a year or 2 years or more, So this would be my recommendation. You work in an office, wear fucking shirts. Buy 5 to 7 if you're going to wear one every day, I would say buy 8 shirts, so you've got one for the wash day, right? But you can get a couple of t-shirts, like 3 t-shirts and 5 to 6 shirts, and that'll be fine. If you wear 5 shirts, you've got one for every day of the week that you're at work, and maybe if you've got 6 or 7, you've got 2 others to swap in, so it looks like you own more shirts than you actually do to the casual outside observer who's not a minimalist, who might think, oh my god, he looks poor because he only owns 5 shirts. You only need like 2 pairs of smart trousers you don't have to change as often. They don't really get that smelly. As long as you don't spill shit down them, you can wear the same pair of trousers 2 or 3 days in a row. Just my opinion, guys. 1 pair of jeans, or maybe a pair of chinos, obviously whatever gym gear you need, and go crazy on the pants, like maybe 10 pairs of undies, your choice, boxers, briefs, whatever you wear, it's none of my business, and socks, again about 10 pairs, because yeah, you can have one for every day, but stuff's going to get like worn out, stuff's going to, I don't know, you're going to lose stuff, like, or you won't be able to find it at the bottom of the wash bin. Make sure you got a couple extra pairs, because otherwise you're going to end up going commando half the time, which nobody wants, right? And that's pretty much all you need. Obviously you want like a coat if you live in a cold climate, a jacket, whatever, like, you know, those few accessory items, a belt, some ties, whatever, but you don't need like 10 different t-shirts and 18 different work shirts. Like, no, just no, stop that shit, right? Get some good quality stuff, things that you love. Only buy clothes if you love them, because then you're going to want to wear them. Because I bet if you own 50 t-shirts right now, there are probably like 7 that are your go-to t-shirts that you wear all the time, and the others barely ever see any action. And those ones that don't see action, you just get rid of that shit. Get rid of it. It's taking up room for no reason. So we've done wardrobe, we've done kitchen, we've done bathroom. So quickly, I'll just mention like books, media, things like that. You know, if you want to be totally minimalist, buy a decent size MP3 player, buy a Kindle or a Kobo or like some kind of e-reader that's got a decent size memory, and get rid of all of your books because you can have them on there. Maybe keep a couple of books if you're the kind that likes books. Absolutely, I prefer to read a book than an ebook. But if we're talking minimalism, an ebook, man, you can have an entire library in one tiny little package. Same, you can put all your music onto an MP3 player or a couple of portable hard drives. It saves you space. You know, obviously you can have whatever you want. If you like to listen to records, go crazy, have a record player. If you like to read traditional books, go crazy, have a library. But my point is there are ways to minimalize everything, and we're just talking absolute minimal. So e-reader, MP3 player, some kind of access to a PC for you to upload all of your music and books and shit. Pardon me, just had my weight gainer shake, so I'm a bit bubbly. And yeah, guys, I think that's it, right? Anything else? You need a bed. You probably want something to sit on unless you like to squat all the time, which you should, because squatting's better for you than sitting. But yeah, a bed, maybe a seat, table, whatever. You know, it's pretty obvious stuff for the most part, pretty obvious. But that's my top tips on like keeping things minimal and basic with what you need. If I keep going on, the video is going to end up so long. Comment down below with what you think are essential items for a minimalist or are things you should definitely get rid of. Comment down below with what you want to see in the next Minimalist Corner video. Subscribe, check it out. One last thing to say just before I go on this is I have a second YouTube channel which I set up for non-fitness related stuff, and I never really got around to it because I didn't have time to make videos for 2 channels when I was regularly making content here. But would you guys who watch my minimalist videos, especially you guys who've watched this to the end, please do comment and let me know, are you actually interested in the fitness stuff? If you watch the fitness and the minimalism and you, like me, see how the two can fit together, healthy mind, healthy body kind of thing, then cool, I'll leave everything how it is, that's amazing. But if you guys are completely separate and you're like, well, I only really care about the minimalism stuff, I don't care about the fitness, I'm not sure if I should subscribe because I don't want to see all this fitness shit, then let me know. And, you know, depending on what the vote is, I'm considering maybe moving the Minimalist Corner over to my other channel. Of course, if I do that, I'll put a video up here. I'll put a link to the channel so you guys can, of course, find it. But, you know, I don't know if the two should be separated or integrated, whatever. So whoever you are, if you're watching this video, and thank you if you've watched it to the end, because I know I babble and it's got a bit long, let me know if you'd like these two things to be kept together or to be kept separately. Because once I get my own place, I have more time to film and I've got more ideas for other videos to kind of bring my other channel back up get that active, and obviously the Minimalist Corner could be a part of that. So thank you very much for watching. Stay minimal, my friends. Comment, like, subscribe. See you in the next